Hey guys, so day 7 vlogging, and so it continues. So one of the points I did want to mention in relation to what I was discussing yesterday about the whole social aspect and dynamic of me, or the like social resistance I have, one of the major points that heavily influences me that I'm currently walking through is this point, this like statement that exists inside of me of they don't like me. So that's the statement, they don't like me. And this statement weighs so heavily inside myself, it influences my thoughts so much that I could go to dinner with someone or like spend some time with someone and the next day experience or think that they don't like me. And it's really interesting because I'm starting to realize or notice how my thoughts, how I impose my thoughts onto my reality. So it's like I'm not actually seeing reality for what is actually here or what's real. I'm seeing my thoughts imposed or projected onto reality. So it's like how I interpret someone's behavior or how I interpret someone's words. I will think that what they're saying or what they're doing or how they're acting around me means something specific, which in my case is they don't like me. And I'm starting to realize how much that type of thinking influences my experience around people and will influence how I then act with people. I change, like one moment I'm fine, I'm interacting with someone at work, let's say, and there's no issues, there's like we're getting along fine. The next day I'll have this very strong experience that they don't like me because of something they said or something they did that I interpreted as meaning they don't like me. And that thought is like this nagging experience that will then influence how I interact with them. So maybe I'm not as open with them, maybe I'm not as comfortable, so I'm not as like expressive, I'm not as talkative, I'm not willing to engage with them as much. I shut down in a way. And maybe that could be interpreted as me not liking someone. Like, I'm just starting to understand this, I will say, like system that exists inside of me where it's this one statement of they don't like me and how that reaches up into my mind and through my thoughts projects onto my reality, and that's how I interpret reality, and it then dictates how I interact with my reality and those within it. Yeah, so that's kind of a big point for me because I've seen it in relation to my partner's family, and I've seen it in relation to people I work with, people that I've even like developed long-time friendships with. I've seen how that thought grows inside of me. If I allow it, it grows inside of me, and then it like directs or dictates again how I behave with them. So I could actually end a relationship because of this thought of they don't like me. And so if I believe they don't like me, I'll go into a defense and I'll back away and I'll cut ties so that I don't have to face the rejection of them not liking me. So it's been about a year of me, or maybe, I would say a year. I mean, I first was made aware of this point 10, 11 years ago, but I didn't see how it influenced me specifically in my life until the last year or two. And now I'm starting to get a grip on it where when those thoughts come up, I like flag them. Now I know that those thoughts can't just happen without my awareness or attention or direction, because they will take me into a point of possession where I will feel completely overwhelmed emotionally in relationship with people or in a certain circumstance where I just like break down. And I can really create a lot of consequences for myself if I allow it. So they've become points of flags for me to identify. Okay, I see that I'm becoming paranoid about this relationship. I see that I'm becoming paranoid in the belief that they don't like me. And so yeah, it's starting with me just becoming aware of when I'm going into those thought patterns, and from there just basically like walking myself back from the cliff, and doing the self-forgiveness and, putting into perspective. Like, for instance, recently I had this point come up in relation to someone, and I thought, all of a sudden I started thinking they don't like me because of this and this and this reason. So I looked at maybe why they were acting that certain way, what in their life was happening that would have caused them to act that way towards me. Not taking it personally, who they were in a moment or how they behaved towards me or how I was interpreting their reaction. It's like putting into perspective what's going on in their life that maybe is causing them stressful, where they're maybe not as communicative, or they're not as willing to engage, or they're not as happy and friendly and go lucky. Like, they're a little more shut down, a little more stressed, a little bit more agitated. What's going on in their life? It's not just about me. So putting it into perspective really supported me to walk myself out of that network of reactions towards this particular person. That was a more recent case. So I'm becoming aware of this point, and I'm finding solutions out of the point, not allowing myself to go into possession with it. But it's amazing how infiltrated it is within me in relation to so many aspects of my life. And it does relate to this whole social aspect, because even people that I engage with on a, friendly level, the next day I could switch and think, oh my God, they don't like me. Like, the one person that I've become very close with in my year since moving to Canada, she was American, ironically, but like, we just really clicked and hit it off from the get-go. It was like instant comfort, instant like enjoyability. Like, we could just like shoot the shit and joke around, and it was just like, she was awesome. And she doesn't live here anymore, and I really miss her. Shout out to, you know who you are if you're watching this, but shout out to you, you're awesome. And even with her, this person that I like instantly connected with and really got along with, there were times at the end before she moved away where I was having these thoughts about her. So it's like, it's not, it's me. I know that it's me, this thought that they don't like me and they won't like me or whatever. This is something deep in me that I have to deconstruct and walk myself out of, and like loosen the grips of, and like, tear down within myself in a way. And that is part of why I think that I have these like social anxieties or resistances to creating relationships, or why I haven't created a lot of relationships, because this statement of they don't like me gets in my way, or I allow it to prevent me from really connecting with other people, or I allow it to compromise the relationships I do have. So that's one point to share, and that, to me, I feel like is the biggest challenge I'm facing at the moment. I do feel like I'm on the other end of it. I don't feel like it has got such a grip on me as it did previously. Like, I feel like I am more effectively working through it, which is pretty cool, and it is absolutely with the support of the tools I've learned from the Desteni group along the way. If you haven't seen it, check out desteni.org, desteni.org. The principles, the applications have been life-changing. My whole life has changed in the last 10 years, and I'm so grateful to be where I'm at and to feel empowered to change this deep core, deep-seated nature of myself that is so disempowered and so influential. The fact that I actually have ways in which I can completely change myself and how I think and how I view the world and what I think I'm capable of. It's pretty amazing. So shout out to Desteni and all those walking, and to myself for day 7. So we've done 1 week. Pretty cool.
How do I know